On August 10th, the derecho took out about half of our forests in Linn County. And that is probably anywhere from 50% canopy destruction to nearly 100% in some areas like Wanatee Park and Wickep Hill Learning Center. Currently, we're working on a salvage harvest contract for Wanatee Park, about 283 acres here that were affected, and also about 17 acres at Wickep Learning Center. During a salvage harvest, we contract with professional logging crews to come in, and basically they take the valuable timber here that can be used for products. It really is a sustainability project because when you have 100 to 200-year-old oak trees, that can be turned around, used for products, sold, and those resources can be put back into the land to help us restore these forests. You can see all of the what we call widowmakers, those tops or large branches that are hanging there, or even the down trees that are unstable. You just can't allow them to stay because once the public tries to get back in here and even use this land, it's a massive safety issue. So this harvest will help us remedy that and make the forest safe again as we start to restore them. As much as we would never want this to happen, we are trying to use this and look at it as a stewardship opportunity. You know, the derecho this year was just astronomically expensive, and it takes resources to bring these woodlands back into shape. A lot of times you hear folks think, why can't we let nature take its course? In a perfect world, we would like to do that. The problem is man has impacted our forests to the extent these days where active management is critical for forestry establishment. There's a lot of non-native species that have been introduced, and now that the sun is going to hit the forest floor, these invasive species that have been transported by birds and seeded in here are going to really flourish. And if you look around to the forests that we have now, there is so much dead wood everywhere, you can't get in there to manage them. And the invasive species they'll come up and they'll suffocate the new tree species that are trying to germinate from the oaks that have dropped acorns everywhere, or the new trees that we're planting. So we really need to be able to get in and actively manage the areas with equipment and even on foot so that we can allow that new native forest to properly grow and establish itself. Historically, Iowa has been an oak hickory native forest, and why is that so important to restore it to its native origins? We have just hundreds of species ranging from pollinators to birds to wildlife that use these oak species, some of the other hardwoods like walnut, shagbark hickory, and it's critical to bring them back. If we do not, what we do is we change the habitat, and the food and the resources for all of these pollinators and wildlife are not there anymore if we don't. A single oak tree will have hundreds of species that rely on it. It really is its own ecosystem. One oak tree, I think, can support about 500 different species of pollinators and birds. So what we're doing with the active management plan is we're getting that native species like white oak, red oak, the shagbark hickory, and other species back in to reestablish a full canopy. We manage about 4,600 acres of woodlands in our system. You know, the southern half of that was really impacted by derecho. So while we're doing the log harvest here at Wanatee and Wickep Hill, there's going to be a lot of other areas where we have to do other forestry operations to restore the woodland to its healthy native state.